Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to part 2 of D8 Live. If anyone's near the back, would you mind closing the curtain? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to D8 Live, part 2 of the show. We have 2 more very interesting people for you to meet. We should be finished in about an hour. Okay, about an hour. And then we can all just chill out and relax and kind of just hang out, meet these new people that we've been sitting beside and find out all about them. Our next guest is an up-and-coming young man in the Irish art scene. He's already head of the school in the Royal Hibernian Academy. Jesus almighty, Joan Collins, I have to make a list of all the things I got wrong on the night. And he's also a very well-known painter and going to become a lot better known. He's currently exhibiting in Paris in the Centre Culture Irlandais. Took me about 3 days to get that off. And he's here to tell us tonight about his art. His name is Colin Martin. Welcome, Colin. Just tell us a little bit first of all about your exhibition in Paris.
So the exhibition is called Empathy Lab, and the title came from, I think, in about 2017, myself and my family kind of visited the Facebook headquarters in Dublin as part of Open House, and we went on a tour there, and as we were being shown around, we were kind of introduced to an area in Facebook that was called the Empathy Lab, and it was an area where they were inviting kind of employees to either give to charitable causes or talk about charitable causes, you know, through the mediation of technology. So that became a kind of, I suppose, hook for the exhibition, because the exhibition is about how much of our inner lives and, you know, our inner world are now kind of mediated through technology, and it's about that space.
We're going to see some of your paintings in just a few minutes, but before we do, would I be right in saying that you're very sceptical about technology and where we're going? Like the painting we're going to see in a few minutes about, which was of the Empathy Lab in Facebook, makes it seem like a very, very negative, almost a dystopian place, and certainly not a place where you'd find empathy.
Yeah, I mean, I was asked this, you know, before I was asked, you know, around an interview in the show, like, am I kind of cynical around technology and, you know, the whole growth of technology and the whole fact that like, Dublin is this technology hub. And, you know, not really, I'm an avid user of technology like myself, you know, and, you know, so I don't necessarily think technology is a bad thing or I'm technophobic around it. But I suppose the space I'm kind of interested in is maybe things that we have been slightly uncritical around, say boundaries that have changed, you know, like imperceptibly over time in our use of technology. And kind of looking at that and being quizzical more than skeptical. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to pull down the screen. And we're going to put up some of Colin's pictures, and you'll just talk us through them.
Sure.
And if anybody wants to buy them at the end of the night,
yeah. Go for it, Gerry.
You got the right audience for that, you know. Sorry, folks. The reason we didn't bring down the screen during the break was that it messes with the cameras when we're doing the interview part. So just give us a moment. So this is the Empathy Lab of Facebook.
No.
This is the...
So I suppose the whole show is called Empty Lab, and that's like the title for the show. This
is the fulfillment centre.
This is fulfillment centre.
Right. Yeah. And what happened to the fulfillment?
So this is a really large painting. I suppose one of the things that happened over COVID. As Gerry mentioned, I work in the RHA school, and I have a small studio there, which is great. But like over COVID, the school was emptied out, and basically for about 2 years, like students weren't allowed, or you know, it was difficult for them to access. So I kind of started working downstairs in the school and started making these really, really large paintings. And this was one of the first ones I made. It's called Fulfillment Centre. And I had been just collecting photographs of these fulfillment centres that are all over the world. They're all really kind of generic, you know. This one's in India, it could be the same as one in Dublin. They're all kind of organised in the same way. And then, then I began to make this kind of large painting.
So when you say large, how large is this one?
It's about 3 meters. Like it's a lot bigger than this.
But it would take pretty much from that wall to that wall.
Yeah, they're quite large. Yeah.
Because I'm looking at it and the detail, like every little book,
Yeah.
or folder or box. Are you kind of a very obsessive type of person?
A little bit, yeah. I think with this, I was kind of thinking about everything being a click away, and also like during COVID that everyone was everything was buying everything remotely, and all these kind of warehouses like people were getting things, and it seemed like a perverse idea that all of these things that are very kind of quickly attainable and which you can just get order. That you spent the time painting and rendering every single box in the whole warehouse. It's an oddly calming process, I have to say. Because I think sometimes people look at it and they find the image a little bit stressful, a little bit overbearing, and but actually the act of painting it was quite enjoyable. Like I would just take a small, as much as I could paint in one day, and then you'd kind of leave if you felt as if you got that done in a day. You kind of felt fulfilled.
So where is this?
So this piece is called Co-Workers Second Home, and it's in LA. And it's an architectural firm that kind of designs for the tech industry, called Second Home. And I suppose what I was interested in is how the tech industry, like the kind of boundaries between leisure and work have now become blurred. And it's a bit like, I suppose, that whole idea of your attention, constantly the attention economy. That, the more tech companies can get of your attention, obviously the more they can capitalise on that. So I was interested in how that manifests in a physical space. So I was also interested, if you look at how work has been portrayed in paintings, like, people like Ellis Lowry, who kind of portrayed the working classes, it was all, quite dreary and a drudge, and now, a star architect designs your workplace, and, it's a beautiful utopian place to work.
Well, I think this isn't this really shouldn't be compared with Lowry. It's your previous painting that should be compared with Lowry, the mastic men and mastic cats and dogs going in and out of work in the mills. Will we have a look at the next one? This painting's called Child Actor, and I did a kind of series of these, and it was a group of child actors who were working on a sound stage, and they're obviously got some motion capture kind of dots on their facial features. I was kind of interested in the idea that, I suppose that digital native generation, like they have, obviously their real lives, but they also have, an avatar. They have a kind of digital life as well, and that's the kind of implication. I was kind of looking at the portrait as a genre, and what that might look like, for like in the future or in a futuristic way. Next. What is that?
So this is called Panoptical Studio, and it's something from the film industry, and I was interested in this idea that we're always being looked at now with technology, or the idea even that we're looked at with social media, and there's this constant kind of looking over the fence. So the other thing, I think I was talking about this in Paris, the philosopher Michael Foucault, and he talks about the panopticon and this idea in a prison that if you look up at the prison canopy where the prison guards are, you might be able to see them, but the idea that they can see you is a form of power or control, in a prison environment. And I suppose I was interested in that's kind of navigated now, like out of politics and ideology, kind of into the world of entertainment and social media, that we're all, we can be seen, and we also can perform on that stage. Yeah.
With the next one?
So this piece is called Neural Lace, and I suppose I'm kind of interested in things around science fiction that are real, they're happening now, and you're kind of going like that just seems like something that might be like, you know, part of science fiction. I was kind of reading that Elon Musk's company Neuralink were using medical devices and also implants to kind of bypass your mobile phone. That this is the research and development of the company. This seemed like, you know, an unbelievably science fiction idea to me, but that it is reality. These things are happening.
I look at that and I think I'm thinking like that picture above my mantelpiece, you know. Would you not just paint nice stuff?
I used to paint nice stuff.
And who buys? I mean, it's very nice, very talented, whatever, all that sort of stuff. But who buys?
I would like.
Elon Musk.
I think I don't sell a huge amount of work, but when I do, it's more institutional. Like it might be the OPW or Glucksman Gallery about my work, or the Arts Council. But I don't. It's probably not. It's not made for domestic market in that way, or that's not. You know, I kind of make the work, and I don't really think about where it might end up.
Are you above? You're above the cold commercial thing, is it?
No, I love when people buy work.
And then, if you don't mind me asking, how much would this painting be were somebody in the audience here tonight decide to buy it?
That's €1,000, I think.
So this is a relatively small one.
Yeah.
And the big one we saw earlier on, the
big ones are about 20,000.
20,000.
Yeah. But like, you know, I rarely sell those ones. Yeah.
Right.
Storage.
I always think it's funny that if I was a collector of art, I would befriend you and I would give you your 20 grand, and as soon as I own the painting, I'd be waiting for you to die. so that my asset would rise in value. Is that something on the back of your mind when people are buying your paintings?
I think that's a little bit of a myth. Everyone kind of thinks like when you die that your work kind of goes up, but in some cases yes, but like mostly I don't think that is the case.
So there's nobody out there who wants you dead at the moment, no?
No crosshairs on me.
And incidentally, by the way, I'd also heard that when you're in the RHA, the Royal Hibernian Academy, if you put RHA after your name when you sign the painting, it's also worth more. Is that the case?
Like again, it may have been at one point. Like I think, you know, the RHA is just a professional body like any other. I think in the mid 20th century, you know, it was a real kind of seal of approval, or like, you know. But I mean, now it's kind of, you know, you get like if you study for a BA or an MA, you know, these are all kind of marks of quality that you've gone through. So it probably is. It's a mark of association and quality and things like that. But I'm not sure whether it would bring up the value of your work.
Let's have a look at the next one.
So yeah, this piece is called Bunker, and actually it was kind of interesting. I had made a small little study of this, and it's of Tito's bunker in Yugoslavia, or former Yugoslavia, and I suppose, you know, I'm always interested to go to places that you're not allowed to go to, or to try and find images. And the images that I found, it is a museum now. Like they weren't really. I made a small painting, and the image wasn't great that I had to work with. I found it on the internet, and it was bought by someone who is in the Irish Army, and because they had visited there, they knew the place. And about 9 months later, he WhatsApped me images. He went there through army work. He was there, and he took these fantastic photographs of the whole complex. It's a huge underground complex, you know, that was built, you know, for after Holocaust, or, you know, it
was Cold War time. Tito was in charge of Yugoslavia, and he was right on the edge of east and west. So he was, like a lot of people at the time, building big bunkers.
Yeah. But the fact that he was able to get access to it, and then he sent me the photographs, and then, you know, I made this painting.
So this is from Tito's bunker, is it?
Yeah. We
go again?
So yeah, I made this painting this summer. Another oddly calming painting.
Say again?
I made this summer, and it was another one of these oddly calming things to paint.
Well, I feel stressed even looking at it from the detail in it, you know.
Yeah. I'd also teach in the media department in NCD, and a lot of the students use a software package called Unreal Engine, which is used as a gaming software, and it's made to make things at a level of realness that you just can't tell the difference whether something is constructed or not. So this was a still that I found from the game on the Matrix. So it's the city in the film of the Matrix.
So this isn't a real city.
Well, it's virtual. You can go to every street, every rooftop. You can navigate the whole city.
But it doesn't exist in real life. No?
But it doesn't exist in real life. So, as I was painting it, I suppose the area where I'm painting in the arcades, sometimes people pass through. So I was kind of playing a game when everyone came in, and they'd always go, "Where is that?"
Right.
And I'd say, "Well, look, if you can tell me, you'll win a prize." and nobody came near to guessing that it wasn't actually real. So this idea of a reality that's stitched together, and it's synthetic and it's completely fools you. That's what I was kind of interested in this image.
And just to clarify, you did paint every bit of it yourself. It's not from this piece of software.
Painted every single window.
Every single window.
Yeah. It probably took about 5 months all in all. Yeah.
And then, do you paint several hours a day? How do you approach something like this?
So I do really long hours. Yeah, get up very, very early, get into the studio, and actually a day goes very quickly.
but even just the physical strain of holding the brush, surely there's a limit to the number of hours you can paint.
Yeah, there's a level of concentration. Yeah, sometimes at around kind of half 4 or 5, it's fine by, it's an intense concentration for the whole day. I listen to loads of music, loads of heavy metal.
Have you any idea?
It's propulsive.
Have you any idea how many windows are in the painting?
No. But I kind of lived life one building at a time.
Is it oil painting or oil painting?
Oil, yeah. That's a bit bigger. That's bigger than the other one. It's over 3 meters.
So it wouldn't fit in this room.
It would, but it would probably take up that whole wall. Yeah.
So we go to the next painting.
Yeah. So. Actually, around the time when I was mentioning that time when I did the visit to Facebook, we also visited Berlin, and we went to the Stasi Museum. And again, I was kind of fascinated that it's just perfectly preserved, on the day that it was kind of vacated, but it has all these kind of guardrails around, and it's curiously domestic. But as I was there, I was kind of struck by. I suppose that they were gathering everyone's personal data in the same way as they do on Facebook. Now, I'm not trying to say that there's anything sinister in what Facebook does, but it's power. It's about power. That these places, the collection of our personal data is power and it's a responsibility.
Well, it is interesting that when we think back again to Cold War time, the people like the Stasi and all that collecting data on people, now we give that data for free.
Yeah.
Nobody has to kind of tap our phones. They already know who we are and who we're talking to.
Yeah, and actually when I made the Amazon one was I'd kind of been reading about predictive consumerism, this idea that on on the data that the companies have collected on you, they can predict what you're going to buy, what you're going to look at, and they can tailor ads, they can tailor things, to do with that. So. Yeah.
When I look at this painting, I think of that phrase, the banality of evil. It's a very nice office space, but at the same time, there's an assumption that a lot of evil acts were planned from that desk or from that chair.
The room next to this, and I have another painting of it, is a sitting room where the Stasi officers, if they were there late at night, they'd watch TV. It's one of those old kind of 70s kind of, you know, wooden TVs, very 60s, 70s. It's very, very similar to one, you know, I grew up, you know, in our house. And it's exactly like that. It's very banal. It just, you know, feels very kind of, you know, ordinary, homely, domestic almost. And then you know the whole narrative of what's happening there.
Okay, will we have a look at one more?
So this piece is called Crowd, and this was I kind of came across this it's a facial recognition software that's used in China, and it's a crowd leaving a train station in China, but it's kind of linking to people's personal histories. So you know, if you have a criminal record, or you know, if you're or you're considered kind of socially important, they kind of colour graded. So green was I actually redacted some of the kind of information here, like that was kind of considered VIP, and then red is like someone who might be causing or something to worry about. And that seemed like a really Black Mirror kind of science fiction kind of idea, but I just wanted to present it as it is. This is the way it is. Yeah.
So, what's next for you? Are you going to exhibit in Dublin sometime soon?
So, this exhibition is going to come back from Paris, and it's going to go to the Highlands Gallery in Drogheda, which is a beautiful gallery in a kind of refurbished church. And that's in March of next year. So actually, it was fantastic to show work in Paris and show work internationally, but it's also great as well for it to be seen here.
Right.
Yeah.
But no plans for Dublin?
Not for this body of work. Yeah. Like, I've actually haven't shown for a long time. It's probably the first show I've made in 10 years, because, you know, I was teaching so much. So, you know, I'm really hoping to kind of, you know, get back to showing regularly, so but no plans as of yet.
Well, I think anybody here in the audience tonight would love if you exhibited locally, because it's one thing looking at the pictures, the paintings on a screen like this, but I think it must be a whole other experience to see them in their full size.
Yeah, they will be shown in the RHA. Like I would show there annually. I'd show one piece, or you know, 1, 2 or 3 kind of pieces every year. So like it will be shown like next year in the RHA annual.
Very good. Just before we thank Colin for coming in, is there anybody who would like to ask a question of Colin? The lady standing at the back.
When you're painting the really big pictures, paintings, do you paint them on vertical or do you flatten them out? You know,
Yeah.
which way do you do it?
So I paint them on the vertical, and I have a little platform. So you know, and I kind of stack it up, and I have a chair, and I kind of stack it up, and I kind of move around.
You do kind of go corner to corner, it's like a big jigsaw.
I'll just repeat the question just for the sake of the microphone. So the question was, do you paint your paintings flat or at an angle or vertical? Which way do you do it? And then she's asking if you paint it piece by piece, or do you do the whole thing in one go?
So so I do paint them vertically, and I make a platform, and like I kind of, you know, rise it up and down on a chair. In terms of where I start, I kind of look at the image and I kind of go, you know, what am I, like what's pulling me in, or what would I like to paint most in it, and I kind of go to that part, and then I kind of explode the painting from there. I'll just take one, you know, one section a day. Actually, also, you know, James Hanley, the artist, like, and he came in to me one day and he was saying, it's a giornata, and you know, I kind of forgot that term, but it comes from like fresco painters, like it means a good day's work. It was what they could handle, what they could paint in one sitting in a day. So like, they're painted in a series of giornatas.
What?
Giornata.
One final question for Colin. There.
That's real software that up there when it was said, actual software.
She's asking if that's actual software that captures people's faces and links them together like that.
Yeah. Like every source material it is always real in some way. Like apart from like the one of the mega city was the idea that it was unreal. But yeah, they're all kind of like, I suppose, documents in a way, you know. And I just constantly collecting images and you know, editing and putting them in folders, and then, you know, maybe 1% might end up being an actual painting.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to draw this interview to a close. Will you please put your hands together for Colin Martin?